Hello, hello, and welcome back to Biomutant. We are going to find these pyro stick thingies and see what we can do with them. By see what we can do with them, I mean we'll arm the submarine.
Was that
But we'll
like
see
you?
how that goes. Would appear it probably was lightning from the rain coming from a completely clear sky. Oh well. Odd things happen. Gonna keep moving onward. Well, that was unpleasant of them.
That there is a fume foundry where toxanol processed go juice.
Oh. Okay, I guess we're fighting this. Or not? Okay. I do like the new gun we have. Reloads quickly, too. Bulba plod poo. Yay.
Nothing like a story with an unexpected ending.
Fume Foundry Vault Key. We'll deal with you later.
That's a bang plant where toxanol used to make all sorts of splody things before it blew up in their faces.
Ah! Reinforced knitted leather top. Okay, so how do we get in here? Guess we're going to this. Find a way to blast open the Bing plant. Leveled up. We will put it into
You
agility.
move well.
it really a good idea to ride that? Not a scratch on us.
That looks like an unbanged pyro stick on the loose. Better catch it before it goes off.
Ah.
It's all about destiny. Yours, mine, the entire world's.
Okay, I guess we caught some of them. Now we return to Wiz. I was expecting them to be a weird, like, creature sort of thing, like everything else we've used for ammo. Suppose not this time, though.
The pyro sticks will cause a bang, but targeting is on you. At least now you have a chance to hurt the Merc Puff where it counts.
Hurt how?
You should aim for the head. That's the Merc Puff's weak spot. Thinking doesn't seem to be his strong point. Wiz has been working on another cannon, but instead of pyro sticks, it squirts guppos. Scaly distractions for anyone with an appetite disorder, and irresistible for the Merc Puff in particular. Seems the best way to find guppos is go talk to Gil. He has a natural sonar and knows where the guppos sub the surf. This means you'll have to go visit Gil at Burblebottom. Find Gil and he'll be able to tell you where to find the guppos.
Guppos.
Tells you it's a sort of fish that's able to reproduce really fast, which is a real advantage when you're going for infinite ammunition.
Okay. So we need to ask Gil about the guppos, which means finding our way out of here first.
This is turning out to be quite an expedition.
Okay. Let's head onward. And not fall into that. I have a feeling we'd die if we fell into that. What is that? Let's take a look. Oh, gives us side points. Darken the world. Interesting. There's a decent way across. dodge all of them and get these quests out of our way. Yeah,
Disgusting. Biohazard. Just gross. No time to graze. Let's go.
Don't think anyone was grazing there. Go.
Let's see. This is Burblebottom, residence of Gil. Happy to finally get to meet you. He's seen a lot of things wash up on his miniature shore, but nothing as exciting as you.
Hard to get clean in that.
Figures it's impossible. As bad as the air might be, the goo is even worse. It must have been upstream only to get to this point in your histo-future. But which way are you going now? With the flow or against? It's crazy hard to flipper against the surf, but you can't save the world if you let it sweep you away. Either way, it's a shame the surf has gotten so nasty. Thinks life is like trying to ride a wave. You need to pick the right one, but you don't really know which one that is until you're on top of it. Better to ride a wave than let the perfect one pass you by.
I suppose that's true. You can't control a wave.
Wonders who would want to. The right wave takes you where you want to go. Figures he's ridden his last wave, though, what with the world coming to an end. Can't thank you enough for fighting against the goo. Can't stomach how you hang with the Jagni. They keep so much stuff for themselves that they could share with the world.
It's theirs.
Claims they have way more than they need, and the rest of the world suffers for it. But none of that's nearly as important as enjoying the day, right? He never drank from this pond because of the disgusting things done there. Even the fish stopped drinking here after the pollution made the surf mucked and the air blocked his gills. He figures the Tree of Life isn't drinking either. Or, well, that's not true. He said it does drink, as it has no other choice. It's a tree, but it's forced to drink poison.
We have to drink something.
Figures you're right, but that doesn't mean he has to drink that. His friend Wiz needs guppos for one reason or another, and Gil is ready to point you in the right direction. But here, you're only going to find dead ones. He's pretty sure Wiz wants them alive. Well, at least the ones that aren't already rotting. If you head in the right direction, you'll find a clean enough bit of surf to snag yourself some guppos. Then you can get them to Wiz for whatever he has in mind.
How about I
He
take
doesn't
yours?
have any guppos, and Wiz is particular about the kind he needs.
I had to say that just to get the dark point. All right. Back and forth.
This mount has quite a bounce to it.
That was quite the growl coming from that. Especially for a harmless creature.
This is Guppy Grotto.
Alright, let's take it down. Find a way to lower the water. Okay. So what seems to be... No, that's where it needs to be. And... Well, that lowered the water.
It really is a different world underground.
Seems I can only get them when they're jumping. Ah. One more. Find a way out. Nightmare. Yeah, that is pretty nightmarish.
Needs a key.
A key, huh? Monument Club. That seems to do a lot of damage. Woodstock. And a bang pump. Let's take a look at those. We need to go to craft. That seems like our best one.
Resources are too few and scarce, at least for now.
Okay. Which means I need to dismantle some things.
The scrap keeps piling up.
Wait, this one had no add-ons. Okay. Alright, so we wanted to switch that to that. That to the 1055. That to
Your
that.
resources are coming up
Ah!
shy.
Ah, we're one short. Which means we have to go. Now we'll finally get to make our thing. Okay. Really don't have much reach with it, but we'll see how it does. Freefall areas. You entered a freefall area. You move differently here. You ascend by pressing X, you descend by pressing circle. Rectana. We found our way
You'd
out.
never find snow or ice here.
Return to Wiz. So we'll just fast travel. Because I think we'd need to find a way around and get a bridge. As irritating as that is. Okay.
That seems to be enough guppos to provide the octopod with infinite ammunition. He's surprised the Merkpuff's been able to hold its breath all this time.
Ah, a turtle. Well,
it's just another
let's take
proof
it on.
of the evolutionary change caused by toxanol's contamination. Being undersurf has meant the Merkpuff has been left alone to munch on the route down there undisturbed. This means the northwest route has suffered more damage than the others.
So time's up.
He's sure there's enough time to confront the Merkpuff, but he worries if the world has enough years left to last his lifetime, even if you stop the World Eaters.
Use normal movement controls while with the octopod to boost, press L3. To dodge incoming attacks, press circle. To charge up an attack, hold square. To launch rockets, press R2. Merkpuff. Ah. Should have dodged. Oh, wow. That did quite a bit of damage to us. Ah. Ah! Almost got you out of your first phase. Let's see what you do now. Oh. Interesting. Ow. What am I doing? Not sure what we were doing there. Mariner Trophy. World Eater defeated. It's weird because when we defeat them, they don't actually die. They just wander off onto like another part of the tree from what they show. That was kind of an interesting fight, though.
That was the last of them. You've sealed the fate of the tribe
Paragon
and the
Trophy.
tree. It's time for the end game. You have your destiny. Follow it all the way back to Out of Date. He never told anyone about what's next, but he's sure it involves you. Just continue to stay true to yourself and respect others whatever happens. You've become their pride, the guiding light of the tribe. It's time to return to the tree one last time.
Okay.
Wiz knows it's the same old, but he likes talking to you.
That's all for now.
Says you should take it easy.
Okay, we will fast travel to the tree and see what's next. I mean, who knows? It's kind of... This was the story we were following. So now do we leave the world behind and let everyone else deal with the problems? Or is there something we're actually supposed to do? We'll figure it out.
Good thing you're not claustrophobic. Out of Date says the signs of the end of the world are everywhere. It seems nature is preparing to take revenge. The day of reckoning is coming, and you are invited. He can feel you're approaching the end date. If you haven't decided whom of all like-minded, light-hearted beings you've met have earned a seat on the Ark yet, it's time to do that now.
Already done.
Then grasp your last chance to make sure Lupa Lupin's stopped for good. The tree settled its score, but it left yours half done. He says you need to see Lupa Lupin eye to eye one last time. Happy to help.
I think that's it then.
Didn't have much else to say, so no problem.
All right. So we return to Lupa Lupin, who is around the tree. And I suppose it'll ask whether we want revenge or to spare him. Which, I mean, given his past, I'm leaning towards sparing him, but, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how the interaction goes.
Yippee-ki-yay!
Usually when I hear that, there's a couple other words that follow it that are less appropriate. All right.
The Sifu is seeking revenge too. He hasn't forgotten what Lupa Lupin did, but he also wants to stop him from attacking his tribe. Now that the world as we know it seems to end, he wants to make sure the Lupin ends with it. He hopes you agree, even if it goes against your light-hearted nature. There's no room for predators in the world the Jagni tribe is building. But he knows this is your fight. You should handle it.
But if the world's ending, does it matter if we kill him?
Lupa Lupin's own fear was his shackles, not the roots of the tree. It just changed him. You have a chance to stand back and let the tribe handle it.
And why would I stand back and let the tribe handle it? That's the question. Okay, coming up on a break here.
The Sifu is ready to step into the fray. Are the odds about to change in your favor?
Were they ever not in my favor? Because they seem pretty much in my favor. Ah.
If a friend dies, something inside you dies. You can save the Sifu by making yourself a target. Your own.
You say as if I wasn't doing this all along.
Shockwaves spread when the world crumbles. This is not a prophecy, me telling you about the future. It's you shaping it. Here's a vulgar display of power.
Interesting. Ah. Ah.
The more he does, the stronger he becomes.
Ah. That's the thing we need to jump.
It's time you remember who the real enemy is and stop playing the game his way. This is how it ends. The Predator and the world itself suffering. But at least it's a sign they're both still alive.
So I thought it was going to give me a choice there.
So,
Whether
what we
to.
have here is a clear matter of life and death, and only you can make a difference.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing. There's no reason why it's changed.
That was unexpected, but welcomed. The big bad predator left for dead. I wouldn't have wanted to miss this for the world.
I think the thing we're really missing here is someone with a heart and soul. The only thing we've got left are those who've lost their minds.
Heart and soul, life and death are one thread. The same line viewed from different sides. It's just that my side is so much better.
Well, anyone in their right mind can see you're lost. But you're right about the thread. Unfortunately, it's been very dark and has run throughout, taken friends, parents, and now yet another life.
And if we
We
let
all
him
make
stay,
choices, but in the end, our choices make us. There's no peace without forgiveness.
and if we let him live, he'll just kill more of the Jagni
It's
drip.
no better time than now to accept a helping hand.
Or balanced. Is it right at
Do
the
you
end?
wonder what turn life might have taken if you'd done things different? A left when you went right? A yes when you said no? You saw a world drenched in its own cruelty and didn't sway from your path. And so, a great cataclysm draws close. Life doesn't care about heroes and happy endings. Bad things can lead to good. A seed of life, the beginning of something new. You balanced the dark within a world imbalanced in its light nature and made a difference in a place that needed change. You allied with the Jagni tribe and became omnipresent and, most importantly, feared. However, light and dark does simply represent the polarities of life. One can't exist without the other. This is how it begins. The world's headed towards rebirth of a primal paradise as evolution paves way. We're at the mercy of nature. So, trust your conscience to show you the way, and everything else will follow.
A new path. Follow your conscience. I want to look at my my character. That is Aura. Yep, 24 and 24. Just what it needs to be. I mean, most of the good choices I made was not killing animals. Which, you know, on
As foretold,
the
you
scale
were
of good and bad
destined to
isn't
split the
that great.
chains of this world. But you're not alone. You filled the ark, and those that shared your perspective and gained your trust will accompany you on your journey. Is there a world out there that's better suited for the one already in perfect balance than this one? Whether or not, we'll leave your story on record, so those who come after will know you achieved perfect balance in nature and let the world end to start anew. So, when all is said and done, it turned out to be an unusual ending after all. What could be better than ending the story the right way? Ending it your way. A beginning of something new.
Okay. So that game happened. Yeah. I didn't love it. The combat felt a little off. Very repetitive. It it felt like they were trying to do a bunch of stuff that other games have done better. The counter system, was very much like the Arkham Asylum games, which did it a lot better. in those, I think the camera angle does definitely make a difference. In the Arkham games, the camera is a lot further back, so you can see when the people around you are attacking and then counter appropriately. And there's kind of a lock-on system, but kind of not in this game, which just kind of messes with your, it just kind of messes with your aim. And then there were quite a few hits there where it's like I'm pretty sure that attack missed, but it counted as a hit anyways. And the guarding, I mean, it didn't really matter as if... Yeah, the guarding timing seemed off. So, compared to, like, Ghost of Tsushima, where if you missed, it felt like you deserved to miss. If you blocked, it felt like you deserved to block. This one just felt a lot less prepared than that game. So, I mean, Ghost of Tsushima last year was my game of the year for last year. I give it a 10 out of 10 because it was amazing. And I know not every game can be that, but there was just so many bits in this game that felt a little underwhelming. It's kind of... The story is kind of like Baby's first environmental propaganda tale. They also obviously don't fully understand or appreciate the way that the world works with energy. I worked for years in building wind turbines. And do you know what happens to wind turbines when the blade breaks? What they do with the blade? They stick it in a landfill, where it will never break down. And it's one of those where, honestly, nuclear energy is the cleanest and most reliable alternative that we have currently to coal power. Wind's great when it's blowing, but there is the problem with the wind turbines. Solar panels are great when the sun's shining, but we need batteries to store those for when it's not, and when it's not consistent. And if you look at, like, a lithium mine, those are not friendly to the environment. So they just ignore a lot of that and go with what they felt they wanted to. So it's just one of those of they're trying to be so preachy, but they don't understand what they're talking about. I mean, and there's ways that you can do that kind of tale correctly and not have it come across as just preachy, which this wasn't. This wasn't the right way of doing that, I should say. So that kind of grated on me. The narrator constantly talking randomly was quite grating. When you put in an option to have the narrator speak less in the options menu, you should know that your base way of having the game played is a problem. Yeah, the side quests were, I mean, largely uninteresting. It's just fetch quests and kind of escort quests. There were a lot of problems with the animation. So, scoring this game, gonna give it a 4.9 out of 10. It's one where there are little glimmers of things where it's like, oh, you could have gone an interesting way of doing that, but you didn't. And that can make a game feel worse than if the game is, like, hopelessly bad, because then you're just like, okay, it's all bad, and just kind of dismiss it from your mind. Here or there's, like, a few things where, like, you put in a bit of effort and there was some potential there, but then you just went and did something else with your storytelling, or you didn't feel out the gameplay well enough and fix it. You got a half measure and said that was good enough. And half measures don't work out that well. So, this game had a decent bit of hype around it. And then to play that after a decent bit of hype is disappointing, but I mean, you can't base a game off of hype. I mean, just look at Anthem from, was that last year? Or was that the year before? I don't quite remember. But that game had so much hype around it, but because it was EA's BioWare, I was not overly optimistic and decided to wait until I could see more of the game and see some reviews from people I trusted before getting it. And as the hype train was ramping up, they put out their beta, and hopped in the beta and played it, and I'm like, the only interesting thing in here is the flying around like Iron Man. Everything else I do not enjoy. And this was a game where I bought it before the reviews came out from people I trusted, and shouldn't have pre-ordered. So, I mean, if you look at any of the games I've played on my channel, and if you haven't played one of those, play it instead. And, I mean, I hate to be bashing on someone's work, because I do believe that they probably put quite a bit of work into this game. But it just doesn't hold up. I mean, someone's passion project, they can put all of their passion and work into it. But if the end product isn't good, isn't worth playing, you shouldn't. Sad as that is. And, I mean, that's just my opinion. I'm sure there are other people who maybe thought that this was an amazing game. For me, it's absolutely not. Each to their own. I mean, you do you. I'm not here to tell anyone what to do, despite, just having done that. But if you want a light-hearted game, go play Spiritfarer. If you want a good combat open-world game, go play Ghosts of Tsushima. New Game Plus unlocked. No, thank you. Alright, well, that was Biomutant. That happened. I'm going to move on to a game that I know I'm going to enjoy next, because I did not enjoy this one. So for my next game, I'm actually going to play Bloodborne, because it has been my favorite game of this generation. And now that we're at the end of the PS4 era, I want to go back and play through that game again. I haven't done it for my channel before, I just did that in my own time, but I absolutely loved it, and I look forward to playing through it just for my channel. If you enjoyed this game, I mean, leave a like if you enjoyed the playthrough of it. If you enjoyed this game, leave a comment telling me how and why I'm wrong. But, I mean, if you played this game, tell me what you think. Alright, so that was Biomutant.